Have you ever stopped to think about how some people manage to prosper even though they earn very little? It seems unfair, right? After all, we've all heard that in order to get rich, you need to have a large salary or inherit a fortune. But what if I told you that this idea is completely wrong? What if the secret isn't in how much you earn, but in how you use what you already have? In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn a modest salary into a true wealth machine. And all of this by following just 3 simple and effective steps. Before we continue, I want you to think, why do so many people spend years and years stuck in a difficult financial situation even when they want to grow? It's not for lack of effort. They dedicate themselves, work hard, and still end up in the same place. It's frustrating. The problem is that most people try to follow a traditional path, full of outdated advice that only keeps them stagnant. However, I'm here to show you something different. You'll discover a practical and proven way to make every penny work in your favor, multiplying your results constantly and without needing magic. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to look at your account and see that your money is finally starting to grow? That's what we're going to explore here. Now, to get started, write in the comments, "I deserve to prosper and I'm going to transform my finances." Leave this message to yourself as a commitment to your growth. So, why do these 3 steps work so well? The answer lies in the method. People often get stuck in the idea that they need to drastically increase their income in order to be able to save or invest. This creates a dangerous cycle where anxiety and haste end up leading to bad decisions. However, focusing on optimizing what you already have, in addition to being less stressful, is much more efficient. I want to show you that small changes bring huge results. Before going into the details, I want to ask you, have you ever tried to save and failed? Or maybe you started investing and got frustrated with the slow results. If so, stay with me because that's going to change. You'll understand how to build a solid foundation, even starting from scratch. And the best part is that you don't need any advanced techniques to do it. And do you know what's most interesting? Many people think that just because their salary is low, it's not worth the effort. They think, why save if the money is barely enough to cover the monthly bills? This is a fatal mistake. The truth is that all great growth begins with a small but powerful habit. It's like planting a seed. At first it seems insignificant, but over time it grows into a robust tree. So, before we move on to the next point, here's another motivational phrase: I am capable of achieving financial freedom regardless of my salary. Come on, write this in the comments and reaffirm your commitment. Now let's understand what the first step is. The first thing you need to do is change your mindset about money. It seems simple, but it's not. Many people treat money as something that should be feared, controlled, and accumulated. This thinking creates a negative relationship that keeps you away from true prosperity. Instead, you need to see every penny as an ally. Imagine that each coin is a small soldier in your mission to achieve financial freedom. When you spend without planning, it's like you're sending your army into battle without a strategy. You'll never win. But if you make conscious choices about each expense, you'll be forming a powerful platoon that will fight for you. And that changes everything. At this point, I want you to think, how are you treating your money today? Are you taking care of it or just spending it on whatever comes your way? If you want to grow, you need to change the way you see what you earn. Before anything else, value every penny, even if it seems small. Only then will you be able to take the first step towards financial transformation. Now type the phrase, "I control my money, not the other way around." Write it down to strengthen your change in perspective. With this new mindset, it's time to apply the second step, which is learning to prioritize what really matters. Here, we're not just talking about cutting unnecessary expenses. Everyone already knows that. The real change is redirecting the focus of your money to what will bring you returns. Want an example? Investing in knowledge and skills that can increase your opportunities. You see, every dollar invested in something that adds value to you will have a much greater return than simply cutting small expenses. Imagine that you decide to learn something new, like a skill that can help you increase your income in the future. This change of focus transforms what you earn into a source of continuous growth. It's not about depriving yourself, but using it wisely. So if you want to change your reality, start observing where every penny is going and ask yourself, is this expense taking me closer to my goal or taking me further away? This will give you clarity to make better and more conscious choices. But don't worry, it doesn't end there. Type another motivational phrase to capture this moment. I choose to use my money wisely and strategically. Write it down in the comments and remember it every time you make a financial decision. And here comes the last step, which is the most powerful of all, building alternative sources of income based on what you already have. If you think you need large amounts of money to get started, you're wrong. The secret here is to see opportunities that would normally go unnoticed. Maybe you have a talent, knowledge, or even a hobby that could generate extra value. By starting small, you create a second source of income that grows over time. The mistake many people make is thinking that this is too complicated. But when you start focusing on what you already know and look for ways to add value to others, the results will appear naturally. The important thing is to take this first step and not wait for a perfect moment. Use what you have now and improve along the way. So, to reinforce this last point, type in the comments, I see opportunities where others see limitations. This is a reminder that even with a modest salary, you can generate other forms of income and increase your results. To recap, it all starts with the right mindset, followed by a strategy to prioritize what really matters and culminates in the creation of new sources of income. These 3 steps are simple but powerful and will transform the way you view and deal with money. Now that you understand how these 3 steps work, it is important to reinforce something crucial: consistency. There is no point in starting with all the excitement and halfway through giving up because the results did not appear immediately. This is the biggest mistake that prevents most people from achieving prosperity. They expect that in a few weeks everything will magically change. But the truth is that to transform a modest salary into growing wealth, you need to have patience and discipline. So what really makes the difference? It is the ability to maintain these practices even when the results still seem distant. Approaching each financial choice with intention and purpose, day after day, is what separates those who prosper from those who remain stuck in the same situation. If you can focus on the process and not just the outcome, you will notice that small financial victories will start to appear, and each one will be an incentive to keep going. At this point, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Promise that, from today on, every decision you make with your money will be made with a clear goal in mind. Always ask yourself, is this helping me build the future I want? If the answer is yes, keep going. If it's no, stop and rethink. This level of awareness is what will accelerate your growth, even if the starting point seems challenging. Now let's talk about how to use your time to benefit your strategy. Everyone has heard the cliché that time is money, but few really understand what it means. Time well spent is the greatest investment you can make. If you know how to dedicate a few hours a week to activities that increase your financial knowledge, this will prepare you to make much smarter and more calculated decisions in the future. And this preparation is what separates those who become rich from those who live on autopilot. So, the next time you have some free time, instead of spending it just on leisure, try to set aside some of it to learn something new. It doesn't have to be anything too complex. It could be a book, a video, or even talking to someone who knows more about the subject. Each small action that expands your knowledge will serve as another step on your ladder towards growth. True wealth begins in the mind before it appears in your bank account. Now take a moment and write in the comments, I'm going to use my time to build the life I want. That way, you can start applying the right mindset right now. Another point worth mentioning is the power of creating realistic financial goals. Many people sabotage themselves by setting unattainable goals that only lead to frustration. Want an example? Setting a short deadline to get out of debt or save a large amount when your salary is not that high. Of course, this is discouraging, but if you break these goals down into smaller, more practical goals, the feeling of progress will be constant. Every time you accomplish a small goal, no matter how insignificant it may seem, you are actually reinforcing a winning habit. And over time, this will create a domino effect that completely transforms your financial reality. The key is to be realistic and celebrate each step, no matter how small it may seem. With each achievement, you will be one step closer to success. Finally, never underestimate the power of sharing what you have learned. By teaching what you know to others, whether it's a friend, family member, or even strangers, you solidify your knowledge. Plus, by sharing your journey, you can inspire others to change their lives too. And this creates a cycle of prosperity where you attract more positivity and knowledge while helping to build a stronger financial community. One thing that is often overlooked when it comes to turning a modest salary into wealth is the importance of protecting what you have already achieved. This means learning how to shield your finances from unexpected events and impulsive decisions. As much as focusing on growth is essential, it is equally important not to let what has already been accumulated go to waste due to lack of planning. Think of your finances as a castle. What is the point of building new towers if the walls are full of gaps? Before moving forward, you need to make sure you are protected. And how do you do this? Start by creating an emergency fund that really makes sense for you. This is not just an extra for difficult situations, but rather a foundation that allows you to move forward without fear. Having this fund brings peace of mind that is essential for you to make better and safer financial decisions. It is not about saving money for the sake of saving, but rather about having a shield that gives you the freedom to focus on growth without worrying so much about what could go wrong. In fact, this brings us to another important point: learning to control your emotions when it comes to money. Many people make decisions driven by feelings, whether it is fear, anxiety, or even excessive enthusiasm. And this behavior can be a powerful saboteur. The idea here is to develop a more balanced relationship with your finances so that you don't overreact to every up or downturn. The more rational your approach is, the more stability you'll achieve. So the next time you feel tempted to splurge on something impulsively, stop and take a breath. Ask yourself, is this in line with my goals, or am I just acting on impulse? This kind of simple but powerful reflection will help you stay focused on what really matters and avoid making choices that could jeopardize your progress. But it's not just about avoiding impulsive spending. It's about creating an environment around you that fosters financial success. This means surrounding yourself with people and information that add value to your growth. When you're surrounded by positive influences, it's much easier to stay focused and motivated to follow through with your strategy. After all, the environment you live in can either lift you up or drag you down. So evaluate who and what is around you. If necessary, make adjustments. Look for people who share a similar vision and who are committed to their own evolution. This will not only give you extra motivation, but it will also create support that can be decisive in the most difficult moments. Another detail that makes all the difference is the ability to celebrate small victories. It may seem silly, but recognizing and valuing each advance you make, no matter how small, is what keeps your mind positive and resilient. Often we get so focused on the end goal that we forget to look back and see how far we've come. Every step you've taken so far deserves to be recognized, because it's these small victories that keep you on track. So never underestimate the power of stopping, looking at your achievements and celebrating, even if it's silently. Every time you do this, you reinforce the idea that you're in control and that you're capable of transforming your reality one step at a time. And that's exactly what will take you to the next level. To conclude, I want you to remember one last message. Financial transformation is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. Every choice you make, every new piece of information you learn, and every small change in your behavior add up over time.